Okay, everyone, welcome to our second part of lesson 0 of unit 0. All right, so our goals for this lesson are to understand different procedures in our classroom and then to gain access to all of the different learning platforms that we're going to be using. So, location of important things. The Google Doc is going to be your home base for everything digital. It will send you where you need to go. It'll also tell you which tasks are on paper, and then I will show you where to find those, and then how to sign up for small groups. All right, so if something is on paper, it is going to be in this red hanging organizer over here. This is the board that is beside my desk. All right, over by where the calculators are hanging. So every paper assignment will be in here. The titles are on all of the sheets. They're kind of in order with, the first lesson being at the bottom, working their way up. If we run out of room, I'll remove lessons as everyone completes them and put in the new ones as people get closer. So it might cycle through and things might move a little bit. But for the most part, it's going to start at the bottom and go to the top. All right, beside it, you've got your exam date, which is also on the Google Doc. What lesson that you should be on if you are on pace. So on pace right now, you're watching this video, so you should be in lesson 0.2. And then it lists all of the learning objectives for the current unit, what unit we're in. All right, right here, this metal basket, if you do a point earner that is on paper, you're going to turn it in right there. And then I will collect all those papers at the end of second period. So first and second are both physics. I'll collect all those before my physical science class comes in. There's going to be some things that maybe it's a hands-on activity that you could do in the classroom. We don't have to be in the lab. So those bins under the basket, it'll say materials in bin 1 or bin 2 or bin 3. So that bulkier things that are more than paper we can put in there. On the flip side of the classroom, over by the front door, right, so this is physical sciences turn-in bin. Just ignore it. It'll be a mess half the time. But I got a couple of pencils, highlighters if you need one. If you borrow something, please put it back. Pencil sharpener. Down here are whiteboards and expo markers that y'all can use. So say you're doing an assignment and you kind of just want to practice out some problems, or you're following along with a video and you want to practice out some problems. Grab a whiteboard and some expo markers. Feel free to use them. If you need crayons or markers, well, not crayons, colored pencils or markers, those are below that, all on the card at the front. All right, so feel free to grab any of that stuff up there that you need. Just don't touch the physical science papers. All right, so your surveys that I talked about in class. So you're going to go to your pacing guide right here. So beginning of class survey, click on this. It'll open it up. All right, so it's got my email here. You don't have to be signed in. It doesn't actually matter. You're going to scroll down, click on your name. So Miss Parks, status. All right. So I'm doing fine, just working. I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I feel confident right now, at least. I can keep going. I'm feeling stuck. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get pretty far today because I just really don't know what's going on. I need some help. All right, so now I took a mastery check and I'm now revising. So if you took a mastery check and did not make the 80% to be able to move on, I'm gonna send you back to work on some other things. We're gonna work together and I'm gonna give you some things to work through. So that's that. So if you are working through some stuff because you took the mastery check and did not excel, click on that. If you come into class and you're like, I'm ready for this mastery check. So you click I'm ready for this mastery check. What lesson am I on today? So you're watching this video today. This is where I'm at, 0.2. What is my goal for today? To finish 0.2 must-dos and then start next lesson, which would be 1.1. All right, how are you today? Anything you want to talk about, want me to know? I have a killer headache today. I will see this, so you don't even have to come up and tell me, but I will know that, oh, you have a bad headache today, you're not going to be working at your normal pace. That's okay, it happens. Or, I closed last night, I'm so tired, I didn't get home till 2 a.m. That's what that's for, right? Anything that you want me to know or you want to talk about, let me know. So you got something going on, you want to talk about it? Well, let me know. Okay? Oh, I forgot to actually click something. I'm gonna click I'm doing good. And submit. All right, so what this survey does is it actually is going to update our progress tracker. So I put myself in second period just for this example. But you can see it puts my name right here under lesson 0.2. This is so if I want to work with somebody, say I have a lab to do and I'm like, oh, I want a partner, I can look right here and see who is ready to do that lab, who is about right there ready to do it, right? We're all in the same lesson. Or, oh, I have a question about something. Let me see if somebody else has gotten the answer. Or, oh, I want to ask a question. Let me see if somebody else has the same question. Let's go ask together. So you can find people to work with, right? That way you aren't having to do activities by yourself. You can collaborate. You can ask questions with each other. Or say, okay, we're really struggling with something right here, but I think this person over here, someone who's in lesson 1.1, would be willing to help us. So let's ask them real quick if they know what to do. If they know what to do, great. If they don't, come ask me. Or say someone's in the lesson behind us and we want to do a lab with them. Maybe see what they're struggling with, help them be ready. They can come on up, they can do their mastery check, and y'all can do the lab together. So this is so you know where everyone is, right? And once you're done with all the lessons, you'll be in exam ready. And this way you can find a partner to work with, you can find people to ask for help, you know where your neighbor is. It's really just beneficial to have an idea of where other people in the class are at. All right, so you go back, click on your end of class survey at the very end of class. Scroll down to your name. And then what assignments did you complete today? So we'll pretend that I've finished all this stuff. So I've completed this and I've signed up for physics classroom and I bookmarked the physics classroom on my Chromebook. All right. Down here is other. So if you're doing something I gave you that's not on this list, you click other and type it in. So where are you planning to start tomorrow? I'm going to start on lesson 1.1. All right. This is not going to update that progress tracker. This is just so I know going into the next day. Did I reach my goal? Yes, I did. Also, like, spelling, grammar, not my strong suit. If their answers aren't perfect, it's okay. Do you need help with something? Yes or no, it doesn't matter. So, yes, if you need help with something when we come into class the next day, type out your question. So, I am having trouble with vector components. That's a really bad way to spell trouble. Okay. So I'm having trouble with vector components. I will see this before we come into class the next day. And if you're having trouble with vector components, somebody else is having trouble with vector components, I can pull you all together. We can work in a small group or we can work one-on-one and go over this together and help you understand better, right? So if there's ways that we can like pull together a group of people who all are having the same issue, I'm going to do that. And that way we can all help each other and learn together, right? Okay, so that survey is done. I'm going to exit out of both of those. All right. So here we are. So taking notes in the must-dos. All right, so you'll have video lectures like this. This one does not have guided notes because there's just not notes to really take on this. If you want to jot down things, please be my guest. But this is not something that I'm going to be checking. So you are required to take notes. 90% of them will have guided note sheets in the hanging folder thing, the red thing. You don't have to use it. You can take notes on paper. You can take notes on the Chromebook. But they need to be organized. You need to be able to find them later. Okay? Don't take the notes and then lose them. If you're the type of person to lose paper, take the notes, scan a copy to your Google Drive. It's as simple as that. Because you will be required to show me all of your notes and then all of the must-do assignments before you take the mastery check. So I'm going to go through and make sure that you've completed those and shown your work. So on the must-dos, you have to show your work, okay? That's very important. And then this is why I recommend a binder, so you can organize all these papers. Please keep them organized. If you're doing it on Google Docs, please name your Google Doc. It's going to be really hard to find Untitled number 56 when you're looking for whatever notes you are, right? Once you start getting up into the Untitled 100s, it's a little confusing. All right, so your point earners. For each lesson, remember there's a minimum number of points that you have to earn. This counts for 33% of your formative section, which is 10% of your overall grade. You are only able to earn points until the last day of that unit. So once we have taken the exam, you cannot go back and earn those points, because I don't want you to have been behind in Unit 1 and still have points to earn, and we are in Unit 3 and you are now behind in Unit 3 because you're back here trying to earn points in Unit 1. Once we hit that exam date, it's done. No more points. All right? If you are behind pace, skip the point earners, okay? If you think you can take the mastery check and pass and get that 80, take it, move ahead, and then once you catch back up, go back and earn all those points, okay? So skip them if you need to keep on pace, and then you can go back and revisit them before the exam, and it'll be great practice, right? So do that. Don't get behind because you're trying to earn the points. All right, your next level assignments. So these are for people who want a more in-depth look, they want more hands-on, they want to go beyond the basics of the course. You must be ahead and you must have passed that lessons mastery check to do the next level assignment, okay? So take the mastery check first and then you can do it. If you're ahead enough and you want to take that mastery check and then do the next level and then move on to the next lesson, that's okay. Just make sure that you're not behind because you're doing a next level activity. And so most of these will come with some kind of reward, some kind of extra credit, some kind of like piece of candy, a small prize. I don't know. I'll come up with some fun stuff. If you've got ideas, let me know. But I want to reward the kids who are going further. If you're doing the extra work and you're going more in depth into physics, great. I'm going to reward that. All right, so labs. There are a bunch of different types of labs we're going to do. There are so many fun labs that we can do in this class. With that said, we have to be moving along and working and keeping on pace to be able to get to do the really fun ones because they take a lot of time, but we also have to cover all the material. All right, so lab groups. If it's a lab that is just in the unit, it's a point earner or it's a must do, but I'm going to grade it, you can find your own lab group and do it whenever you get to it in that unit. There are some labs that we are going to do as a class. Typically, I will let you pick your own groups. If it becomes a problem, I'm going to assign you a group. I'm sorry, but I need y'all to be doing the labs focused and working hard on them. If you're distracted by your best friend, it's not going to happen. So I might assign your groups. I don't like to. If it's a problem, I will, though. Lab safety. We have got to follow all lab safety procedures. We don't really use chemicals in physics labs, but we do use like big things, like heavy things. We use toy cars, we use weighted machines. Please make sure that you're being careful and not using any of our items as weapons or toys or whatever. They're serious science things, as I like to call them. Also, because of the sensitivity of the materials and the fact that there are chemicals that have been used in these labs, you cannot eat or drink in the lab. Like, it's just, you can't do it. For your safety, for the safety of all of the equipment, not allowed. Then lab days. All right, so there are some units that there are so many labs to do that you might have options of which lab to do. You might have a couple that you could get done in one day. We're going to have set lab days where we go into the lab, and if you've got a lab you need to do, you can do it. If you've already done the labs because you did 2 in one day, great. Bring your Chromebook in, work on something else. But I want us to have days where we're all in the lab so anyone who needs to do a lab can do a lab. If we're doing like whole group labs, you'll know in advance, and we'll obviously all be in the lab together those days too. But the days we're doing big group labs, you probably won't have time to do other labs too. So don't count on the big group days to do your smaller labs. And mastery checks. So this is our last category. So what are mastery checks? They're just little mini quizzes. to show that you know the material, that you have mastered the concept, you have mastered that standard. So they're typically, it might be 2 questions, it might be like 10 to 15, depending on like how much the lesson covers, right? You can take them once you've done all of your must-do assignments. If you haven't done the point earners, that's okay, I'll still let you take it, but if you fail it or make less than that 80, I'm gonna make you go back and do your points before you retake it. And then when you're taking them, I will have like a section where I have you sitting depending on what we're doing that day. So like it might be the seats closest to my desk or closest to the standing table at the front, something like that. So just depending on what's going on, you'll have to sit in a certain spot. But that's okay. And I'll have to unlock them for you, like I have the codes. And then grades. All right. I don't want you guys to just take the mastery check at the very beginning just to see what kind of questions are on there. If it becomes an issue, like I will make multiple versions and you will take one version, then the next version, then the next version. But I will always keep your highest grade. So if you don't do hot the first time and you make a 90 the second time, that 90 will go in the grade book. Hey, if you make an 80 and you want to keep going, move on, keep going in the lab, like doing your lessons, great, do that. And you can come back before the exam and retake the ones that you scored like an 80, 82 on and get that 100 or get that 95. Because it's all about if you know the material, if you've mastered the concepts. That's really what we're looking for. So I don't care if you made an 80 the first time. If you, with doing the next couple lessons of practice, you're like, oh, I have such a better understanding, go back, retake it, get the grade that you deserve because you know that material. All right, so last section, the online platforms that we will be using. Main one, Canvas. Y'all have been using this longer than I have. You know what's up. CK12 in the physics classroom. All right, so CK12. So if you look at our pacing guides, so let's scroll down here. This one is a must-do. Most of these are going to be point earners though. So let's look at this one. We've got CK12 1.2, and it says it's on Canvas. So we're going to go to Canvas. We're going to go down to our modules. So down to 1.2, right here. Click on it. We're going to load it in a new window, and this won't pop up. It'll just come up to the page that looks like this. All right, so you'll read through. If you understand this already, you don't have to actually read all the way through it, but it walks you through. Then you'll click on Start Practice. Yours will say Start Practice. The practice is you have to keep going until you get a certain number of questions right. It's usually 10, sometimes it's like 8, maybe 12. But you keep just answering different questions. Like it'll give you a different question every time until you get 10 right. It doesn't have to be in a row. You just have to get 10 right. And then once you're done, you'll click out of the practice. And at the top here where it says, would you like to assign? It will look like this for y'all. And it'll say turn in. Make sure you click turn in because that's the way that it syncs to Canvas and gives you your points. If you don't answer the correct number of questions correct and you like give up halfway through, it will give you partial points. But it's really easy to just keep answering the questions because eventually it cycles back through to get your full points. And you can do them more than once. If you do take the practice again and get all of them this time, hit turn in again, it'll keep your highest score. And then this website, it's actually like a full like digital textbook, but it has this cool guy named Flexi. If you click on his icon, you can type in whatever question you have and he will answer it for you and then give you a link to the parts in the different books that can help you understand. And like this covers a lot of subjects. So if you just like have a random question you want to ask him, please be my guest. Like he's got a lot of information. It's kind of fun. The physics classroom. So this one is a little weird and clunky of a website, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's not super tech savvy. It was made by some old teacher. I don't know. But you're gonna follow the link in the Google Doc. I think it's also in Canvas. And click register as a student, right? You're not a teacher, you're the student. So click register as the student and then type in our class code. Our class code is 8675309. All right. So on the Google Doc, go back over here, you will see that they are labeled the physics classroom, right? So these ones which are attain more information are going to take you to readings on it, which I'll just show you this one. And it walks through and it gives you examples, it gives you practice problems, all of that. All right, so click on those, read through them, it'll help you. On these, it says like concept builders, vectors, and projectiles. This is the category that the assignment is in. So like once you log in and you'll click on like view your assignments, that's the section. And then this is the assignment name. So click on this first and then it'll take you and it'll be a list and you can click on your assignment name. And it'll walk you through like what's required, what's not required. After the first unit, like you'll get used to it and it's really easy. But at first it's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little weird. But yeah, let's see. I think that's all I had for y'all. Yep. All right. So if you have questions, ask them. Don't hesitate because if you have a question, someone else probably has the same question. And then I can answer your question and then put the answer out there for everybody else. Because if one person's confused, odds are high somebody else is also confused. All right. So enjoy. I hope y'all enjoy the class. Make sure you sign up for the physics classroom. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and move on to the next lesson.